What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back once again, and today we are going to be reviewing episode 4 of The Mandalorian. If you guys have not seen it, then go ahead and go check it out on Disney Plus. It is up. If you guys want to go ahead and stick around for my review, go ahead and do that. This will also be going on my podcast, so go ahead and check that out. I'll be leaving the link down in the description. But let's go ahead and get into it. It takes off right where it left off with the Mando as well as Baby Yoda. We are seeing them enter a backwater planet, and he's telling him to stay on the ship, and he's going to check it out. Well, Baby Yoda is not listening. He wants to walk with them, so they walk into town, and they go into what seems to be a bar or something of that nature. And as soon as that happens, he goes ahead and sits him down. He tells the barkeep to bring some food for him, and then he sees Cara Dune, which is played by the lovely Gina Carano, and we get to see where he does find out that she's former guild, and they start fighting outside. And then what was so funny is you get to see where Baby Yoda just takes a sip of his, I guess it was a soup or a brew or something. He just kind of looks like, hey, how you doing? It was really funny. There was a lot of comedy in this episode, but at the same time, we get to see where they start talking, where she was a former guild member. She took a lot of jobs. She still has. She's wanting to retire, and she's a former shock trooper. She tells him that they have to move on because it's going to create a lot of chaos and people finding her, and he agrees. So they go back to the ship, and then these settlers who we saw in the beginning of the film, who are raided by this some type of a species, they try to ask the Mando for help, basically stating, "We need help. We'll give you all our money." And he says that's not enough, and he says, "Please, sir, this is everything that we have." And he says, "We'll just have to go back all the way out to the middle of nowhere." And then that's what got his attention, that in the middle of nowhere. And then pretty much what to him is chump change. He goes over, finds Cara, and she puts a blaster up to his face right when she's sleeping, and he says, "You ready for another job?" And she says, "So you're not supposed to be helping on this chump change?" And he says, "Well, he's between a Mandalorian as well as a former shock trooper." He says, "It should be no easy." So he just kind of leans back, and you get to see where Baby Yoda's kind of mimicking him a little bit, with not just walking, but also with laying down. They go into the village, and the village children take a very good liking to Baby Yoda, and so does this female who I want to say is the leader of this little village, and she takes in the Mando into another hut, so to speak. And so does the daughter. Her daughter takes a very liking to the Mando as well as Baby Yoda. She informs him that if you need anything, just don't hesitate. And then the little girl asks, "Can I play with them?" And he says, "Yeah, go ahead." And then right when um, he goes, he's like, "Wait." She says, "They'll be fine." Well, the Mando and his character, they start bonding a little bit, because he informs her a little bit about his past. That he was founded by the Mandalorians that raised him. Because she asked him when was the last time he took that off. He said yesterday, and she informs him that, "Have you not taken it off since you were a child?" And he informs her he has not taken it off since he was a child, but it's against his ways of the Mandalorian. And she informs him that, well, who has seen him, and possibly the only one that has seen him will be Baby Yoda with his helmet off. And then she says, "Well, it's up to you if you want to take it off." But basically, she was insinuating that she'd like to see who is under the helmet. And when that happens, she informs everybody that they're here to protect them. And when that happens, he takes off his helmet, eats his dinner, and then among Cara as well as the Mando, they go out searching for these raiders, and they come to find out that they have a walker. And when that happens, they have to tell him, "Look, you gotta leave." They're saying no. And she's saying, "Look, I've seen so many people die because of these walkers, that every time I've seen trained military professionals die." So obviously, they don't want to leave, and he says, "Well, what if we taught him?" So basically, he has to teach him how to shoot. She's got to teach him how to fight. And he basically says, "Okay, does anybody know around here how to shoot?" And of course, the only one who raises her hand is the lady who has taken a liking to him, and he basically is like, okay. He starts getting extra weapons out of his casing. That what he got from the ship. So he's teaching him how to shoot. He's impressed by her because of knowing how good she can shoot. And as soon as that happens, um, Carr starts teaching the other villagers how to fight in one-on-one combat. And then as soon as they're done doing that, they're building walls. They're building some traps for the walker. And as soon as that happens, you see later on in the day, and he basically informs her, when we leave, we're going to be coming back in hot. So she says, okay, we'll be ready. So they go to the Raiders camp, and as soon as that happens, they go in quietly, but then we start seeing a lot of one-on-one combat with the Mando as well as Carr working up, teaming up, and they take out, like, I want to say about maybe 6-7 guys of Raiders, and then as soon as that happens, they blow up one of their camps, and then you see where one's getting into this walker, and they're looking like, oh crap. So as soon as they leave, they start running away from the walker, and the villagers are waiting, and they come in going through the what was kind of lake farming in a way. That's the only way I know how to describe it, is for that way they could get their krill. And they go in, they said, be ready, here comes the walker. Well, the walker goes to a certain degree where the water was, because I guess it has suspicion that they built a trap because of the way the water was, because they wanted to, they basically had the villagers dig further in the water, so that way the walker, when it put its leg down, it would go all the way down, and then they could destroy it. Well, it took them a while, because as soon as that happened, the walker wouldn't take the bait, and then they kept on trying to shoot it. When the Raiders started going, and they just kept going, firing back and forth, they said, we got to get that in the trap. Well, Carr, she says, let me see the rifle. He says, I'll cover you. So the Mando covers her, and Carr goes into the water, basically baiting the walker to take the bait and try to go after her, try to shoot at her. Well, after about 4 attempts, it finally does take the bait. It goes down. They're taking down the Raiders at the same time, and then the Mando grabs what looks to be a sticky grenade, and then plants it into the walker, and then jumps off into the water, and the walker blows up. And he looks at her, he says, was that part of the plan? She says something like that. So then they are relaxing after the triumphant win over the Raiders. Then it basically does get said that they're sitting at the hut, and she said thank you, and so they're relaxing. And Carl looks at him. She says, well, she says, I guess one of us is going to have to leave. And she says this is good for him. And basically, the Mando states that he may have to leave the child. He says because going with him will just get him killed. And she says, so you don't want to settle down with that lovely widow. She says to take off the helmet, put that in for a day, and then just basically raise that kid and maybe have a family. And he basically states that he can't do that, because if he takes off the helmet, then he can never put it back on. She says, so that's it. Which, to her eyes, it may just seem silly. And then, as soon as that happens, he basically goes to the what seemed to be the village leader, telling her that he was going to be leaving, and she wanted him to stay. She said, you could take off all that armor, settle here in peace, and just save that for a day when you need to defend us, or you feel like you need to defend us, or if you need it. And she tries to take off his helmet, but as soon as that happens, you see another bounty hunter going through the woods, getting ready to shoot Baby Yoda because of his tracker. And he sees the woman trying to take off the helmet of the Mando. He says, I can't, I don't belong here. And as soon as that happens, he eyesights Baby Yoda with a headshot, and then all you hear is a blaster. And next thing you know, he's standing on her. He says, go get the kids. And he runs into the woods. You see Carr shooting the bounty hunter. And she says, I'm guessing one of the ones you know. He says, yeah. He says, here for the kid. And he basically sees the tracker. She says, I'm guessing that's part of it. He goes, yeah. She says, they're not going to stop coming for him then. And it makes him upset, because he was wanting to leave Baby Yoda there to try to hide him. But at the same time, he now knows that he's somehow implanted with a tracker, and no matter what he does, they're going to find him. So he basically, they say their goodbyes. Carr goes one way, so does the Mando. He says, cross again. And they say goodbye to the villagers and just sets into them leaving the villagers. Now, this episode was absolutely amazing. It was very done properly. It was fun, action, comedy. Um, it always gets me of how they can just improve every episode. But The Mandalorian is literally becoming one of my favorite shows within nowadays, because it has everything you could possibly want with that Western type of feel, that just that loner type of vibe that you can get from Star Wars, especially with the Mando. But Gina Carano, she did an amazing job in this. I love, first off, I really like her as a actress, also as a martial artist, and you really got to see her fight in this. I really was happy to see what the Mando could do in person, so I was really happy about that. And it was a great episode. So if you guys are fans of this, definitely check out the episode. If you haven't, then go check it out. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you guys did, let me know in the comments. Hope you guys are enjoying your day, and let me know what you think. And hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving. Hope you enjoyed your holidays. More holidays among us, and let me know what you think. And I'll see you on the next one.